good evening, wherever you're joining us from. So you are welcome to today's webinar, which is the second actually of a series of webinars from our impressive female voices participants, which is a project that's actually led by Stephen Mander, connecting here. So today we have a webinar with Sahar Mohamednour, who will be talking about multilingualism and how you can actually use strategies in your classroom to promote multilingualism. So we'll be quickly move on to introducing Stephen. Stephen, would you like to talk a bit more about Human Voices for those who are actually new to it? And then move on to introducing Sahar.
Yeah, sure. So, hi everybody. I'm Stephen Mander, and I was the project support for the teachers who took part in the project called Female Voices. We worked together as a group over quite a few months to create materials and webinars for the Teaching English Africa website. And we've shared materials on the site, which you can go to already about different topics. So, for example, there's some about intercultural understanding, which you watched last week if you were here. And there's also multilingualism, and there are going to be some future ones as well on gender and grammar as well. It's been a really fun project. I've really enjoyed working with all the female voices in the different countries in Sub-Saharan Africa that we've done together. So it's been really, really positive. And I'm really happy to be introducing Sahar today as the second presenter in this series of webinars.
So thanks, Stephen. So if you don't mind moving to the next slide, so I can just quickly share some housekeeping items. So please note that you can use the chat to ask your questions to the presenters. But make sure these are only topical questions. Do not share any personal information, or these will be removed from the chat. And anything that includes addresses, phone numbers, and email addresses will not be allowed in the chat. So at the end of the webinar, we'll be sharing links for you to download your certificates. So all attendees will receive a certificate after you've completed a feedback form, and we'll share the link to the recording as well, so that you can actually share with your community of teachers and spread the word around how to really use best practices around multilingualism. So over to you, Sahar, for your presentation, and welcome.
Okay, so hello everyone, and welcome to Multilingualism in the Classroom. My name is Sahar, and I will be your presenter for today's session. Thank you, Steve. Thank you, Stephen. And I'm delighted to see so many of you joining us today. I can see people from Nigeria. I can see people from Ethiopia. I can see people from that. So, wonderful. That's really wonderful. Welcome, everyone. Okay. Next slide. Okay. So the aim of this webinar is to empower teachers with practical insight and strategies to deal with multilingual classroom. We will be talking about the benefits and also challenges of multilingualism, and we will be sharing valuable tips and resources to help you improve your teaching approaches and to help you foster an inclusive and welcoming environment for your students with different linguistic backgrounds. So by the end of this webinar, we will have discussed what is multilingualism and why multilingualism is becoming more and more important nowadays. We will also talk about the benefits of multilingualism in our classrooms versus using only English, as the very famous debate. We will also dive into the specific impact of multilingualism in English classroom and how multilingualism can affect the learning outcomes. And finally, we will share some tips and resources to help you effectively manage your multilingual classroom. Okay, next slide. Okay, so hi, this is me. My name is Sahar. I'm from Sudan, and I have been teaching English for more than 6 years now. Currently, I'm working at MangoGet, an online language platform, and I'm personally interested in multilingualism for two reasons. The first reason is right now I'm raising a multilingual child. My daughter, she is learning French and Arabic besides English. So that's why I read a lot about multilingualism and what are the benefits of multilingualism and how we can deal with multilingual learners. And the second reason why I'm personally interested in multilingualism is because I'm a mom, so I needed to stay at home with my child. So I have shifted from offline teaching to online teaching. And during my online classes, I have met students from all over the world. So I have personally experienced the challenges teachers might face in multilingual classrooms. So that's why I'm here to share with you some tips and tricks to help you also deal with your multilingual classroom. Okay, next one. Okay. So let's start with this very, very important question. Why now? Why we are talking about multilingualism? Why multilingual classrooms are becoming more and more common? And remember, this is a very interactive webinar, so please don't hesitate to share your thoughts, your ideas in the chat. I would love to read them. So what do you think? Why multilingual classrooms are becoming more and more common? What are the reasons? Please write in the chat box. What are the reasons that now teachers will have more and more multilingual classrooms? So what do you think? Why multilingualism is becoming more common? Oh, because it enhances cognitive abilities, problem solving, critical thinking. Thank you, Ali. Yes, that's right. Because multilingualism has many benefits. What else? So what else are the reasons multilingual classrooms are becoming more and more common? Is the expression of cultural diversity. It helps us relate well. Okay. Migration. Yes, that's right. The rise in refugees population is one of the reasons. Yes, that's a correct answer. To remove the communication gap, definitely. When we are having more multilingual people, we can remove the communication gap between us. Okay, to be able to communicate effectively with others, to speak many languages. Okay, yes, that's right. Many wonderful answers. Thank you, everyone. Okay, so nowadays, multilingual classrooms are increasingly common because of many reasons. I have three here. The first reason is a rise in refugee population, of course, has brought linguistic diversity to our classroom. And the second reason is the global job market. Nowadays, everyone is asked to be able to speak and to be professional in more than one language. So, educational institutions all over the world are welcoming more and more people from diverse linguistic backgrounds. And that's why also multilingual classrooms are becoming more common. And the third reason is the surge, yes, in online classes, as I have personally experienced. During your online classes, you will have participants from all over the world with different linguistic backgrounds, with different cultures. And as a teacher, you need to be prepared to deal with them, to effectively manage them, to manage your multilingual classroom more effectively. And that's why we are here, to know how to effectively manage our multilingual classroom. Next slide, please. Okay, so now multilingualism, and I know multilingualism can have many definitions. So here I have 4 choices. 3 of them are actually correct, but the last one is wrong. So we have 4 definitions. 3 of them are correct definitions of sorry, can please mute yourself? Yes, thank you. So here I have 4 definitions. 3 of them are correct. 1 is not correct, and you need to guess. So be careful. This can be a little bit tricky. The first one is A, the use of more than one home or first language by the local population, or multilingualism is B, the ability of an individual to speak in more than one language, or C, multilingual classrooms are an educational classroom environment where students and educators use and interact in more than one language, or D, a class which consists only of students who are fluent or native speakers in multiple languages. So what do you think? Which answer is not 100% correct? Which answer is not actually a definition of multilingualism? Please write in the chat box. Okay, D, we have Elizabeth. Thank you. Yes, we also have another D. Raha said D as well. Then D, I hope I'm pronouncing your name correctly. Jamil said D as well. D, okay. Well done, everyone. Yes, you are right. D is the wrong definition. It's not actually correct. So yes, multilingualism is the use of more than one home or first language by the local population with regard to national settings. Yes, it is the ability of an individual to speak in more than one language. Yes, in our educational classroom environment, educators and students interact in more than one language. But D is not quite correct. Students and multilingual people don't have to be native or perfect in many languages in order to be considered as multilingual. So yes, you are correct. Well done, everyone. D is the correct choice. Okay, next slide, please. Okay, so now let's try to test our current belief. So, do you believe English teachers should incorporate learners' first language in the classroom to enhance understanding and language acquisition, or stick to the very famous rule that our classrooms are English-only zone? So, what do you think? Please write in the chat, A or B. Do you only use English in your classroom, or you'd love to incorporate first language in the classroom? Okay, here we have A. Betty also said A. A again. Okay, so many teachers incorporate learners' first language in the classroom. Both. Akona said both. Depends on the situation. Okay. We have Kamala said A. Again, we have another A. It depends. So we English and Swahili. Oh, so you do incorporate learners' first language in the classroom. A and also B, it depends. Okay, so many people are saying A. Some people said it depends. English and Hausa language. Wallah. Okay, interesting. So why is that, everyone? So Muhammad said both A and B. So why? If you said A, so why do you incorporate learners' first language in your classroom? And if you believe we should stick to the rule that we should only use English, so B, also tell us why. So we have better explanation. Yes, that's right. For better understanding and for empathy. Yes, that's right. For interesting. Alan said because they tend to understand better. Okay. Farhan said, I agree with you. Okay. For you, child first language for better understanding. to create inclusive environment to make the students understand better who don't know English. Yes, that's right. I do agree. Okay, everyone. Yeah, wonderful. Okay, everyone. So now what we will do is that we will discuss both approaches because, as you know, both approaches, they have pros and cons. So we will talk about both approaches and then we will have our discussion. Okay, next slide, please. Okay, so let's start with reasons for an English-only classroom. And I know a lot of teachers, when they are teaching in school, some schools, they have this policy that you should only use English in your classroom. So what do you think are the reasons for an English-only classroom? Please write in the chat. A lot of teachers, they like to stick to the, I will only use English. So why do you think we should only use English in our classroom? What are the reasons for that? What do you think, everyone? Oh, we have many reasons. It's regarded as a universal language for everyone to understand, to get familiar with the language. Yes. For uniformity, using only one language, because it's an the medium inclusivity. Oh, promote proficiency. Yes, 100%. It's the language for teaching and learning because it's a global language. Amani said to practice using the language. Oh, yes, that's right. Many, many wonderful answers, and you are all correct. Okay, so now let's see the first reason why we should only use English in our classroom. Immersion and fluency, of course, because when we exclusively use English in our classroom, we are immersing our students in English-only environment, which can help them be more fluent, of course. Number two, it's real-world preparation, because in the real world, English is the medium for communication. People are not switching between two languages. So when we exclusively use English in our classroom, we are preparing our students for a real-world communication scenario. And number three, cultural exposure. I guess we all know that teaching English is not just about correct pronunciation and grammar and vocabulary. It has cultural aspects as well, right? So when we are using only English in our classroom, we are giving our students the chance to understand English within the cultural medium, right? So cultural exposure is also a reason for an English-only classroom. Number four, why we should only use English in our classroom. Consistent language improvement, because when you are consistently using English, you are encouraging your students to use English as well, which can improve their fluency, which can improve their communication. And the last reason why we should only use English in our classroom is communication skills. When you set the rule of you should only use English in this classroom, you are encouraging your students to express their feelings, their thoughts, their ideas, and perspectives in English, which can help them improve their communication skills. But using only English in the classroom has many criticisms. So let's see what are the criticisms of English only. What do you think, everyone? A lot of people said, I use both, like the native language and English in my classroom. So, what do you think are the criticisms of English only? Why, or what are the problems if we are only using English in our classroom and we don't have the option of using the student's native language in the classroom? What do you think, everyone? Monolinguistic thinking, okay. Comprehension challenges, comprehension challenges. Oh, if the student doesn't understand English, then it's of no use. Right, that's right, Elizabeth. Because it's a foreign language, people are not will not 100% understanding challenges. Again, thank you for that answer. Stephen said comprehension challenges. That's right, Stephen. A way to deeply understanding. Yak said it's an additional language. Oh, we will have an information gap. Yes, that's right as well. Thank you, everyone. Okay, so the criticism of English-only classroom are, number one, comprehension challenges. Yes, the obvious, right? Because some students may face challenges in understanding complex concepts. And when we are speaking with English, we are not having the option of explaining those complex concepts in the native language. Some students may have gaps in comprehension. So this is a very important criticism for using only English in our classroom. Number two, anxiety and participation, especially if our students are beginners. Like some students may feel intimidated by the language. And when we have this rule, you should only use English in the classroom, they may feel anxious or not comfortable. So this can decrease their participation. So this is also a very important criticism. Number three, we have number two, anxiety and lack of participation, linguistic overload. When, again, if your students are beginner and you are bombarding them with a lot of English, this can give them linguistic overload. They are not understanding well. So yes, linguistic overload is number three. Number four, limited clarification. And because some students may not seek for clarification, some students may have many questions or they need you to repeat a certain point. But when we have this no other languages, they may not seek clarification. So this can lead to limited clarification. And the last reason and the last criticism for it is cultural sensitivity, because when we are using only English, yes, we are exposing them to English-speaking culture, but we are excluding their culture from our classroom, and insufficient consideration of cultural differences may lead to misunderstanding. So cultural sensitivity is also a criticism of English-only classroom. Okay, next slide. So now we have talked about the benefits and criticism of using only English in our classroom. Now let's talk about incorporating multiple languages in our classroom. What are the benefits of using many languages in our classroom, and what are the criticisms? Starting with the benefits. So everyone, what do you think are the benefits of incorporating multiple languages in our classroom? Why you are incorporating other languages in your classroom rather than English? What are the reasons? What are the benefits? What do you think? Please write in the chat. Promote inclusive learning. We'll add, yes, that's right. We promote inclusivity. We get to know each other. Comprehension. Yes, that's right. Clarity. Yes, again, for complex concepts. Good results. Okay, so Maria is having good results when she is using many languages in her classroom. Unlimited learning process. Promote inclusivity. Yes. Improve cognitive ability. Yes, everyone. Wonderful answers. And you are correct. This is my daughter, Amira. She wants to say hi. Okay, so let's start with the first reason why we should incorporate multiple languages in our classroom. Number one, yes, you are right, clarity and understanding. When we are using L1 in our classroom, this aids in explaining complex concepts ensuring students grasp the material more clarity. Number 2. So number 1 is clarity and understanding. Number 2, please. L1 is useful for low level. Yes, because sometimes when your students are beginners, you need to have L1 as a foundation for them. You need to have L1 as a foundation to help them learn English. Number 3, foster a supportive environment. When we are using L1, this can create a more comfortable and supportive atmosphere. And we are encouraging our students to participate because now they can bring their languages to the classroom. So we are fostering a supportive and welcoming environment for our students. Number 4, sorry everyone, Amira is just there, okay? So number 4 is needs of heterogeneous classroom. Yes, because refugee population and mixed group and online classes can be catered by bringing linguistic diversity to our classroom. Okay, so what about the criticism? What are the criticisms of using multiple languages in our classroom? What do you think, everyone? What do you think are the criticisms of using multiple languages? Okay, just a minute. So, what do you think, everyone? Time consuming. Okay, so like shifting between many languages can be time consuming. It can be overwhelming because we are not concentrating in only one language. Lauren said, okay, so it brings bias. Each child is different. It keeps its old position. Okay, so we are not encouraging them to speak in English. Miscommunication, misunderstanding, Maria said. Arnold said, might become noisy when we are speaking in many languages. Okay, interesting. That's interesting. Time taking, again, like when we are shifting between languages, this can be a little bit time taking. Okay, interesting answers, everyone. This can be said confusing. Okay, so let's explore what are the criticisms of using multiple languages in our classroom. So we said number 1 is language dependency. When you are using L1 excessively in our classroom, students may develop dependency. Number 2, limited exposure, because when students predominantly use their native language, they are missing out the opportunity to be surrounded with English environment to improve their English communication skills. Number 3, so number 1, we have language dependency. Number 2, limited exposure. Number 3 is cultural sensitivity, because relying too much on L1, now students are, they feel like connected more to their cultures and they are not exposing themselves to English speaking culture. And as we know, this is a very important part of language learning. So cultural sensitivity is also a criticism of using multiple languages in our classroom. Number 4 is preparation for real world context, because yes, in the real world, English is the primary language for communication, and using multiple languages in our classroom may not prepare our students for real world context. So these are the criticism of using multiple languages in classroom. So now, everyone, we have talked about the pros and cons for each approach, the benefit and criticism of using only English, and the benefit and criticism of using multiple language. Which argument was more convincing to you? Using only English or using multiple languages in the classroom? What do you think?
So I have Emma. Emma, would you like to unmute and speak?
Okay, thank you so much. Actually, I think after listening to pros and cons of each and every approach, I think we can use both, but the first one of incorporating everyone in English class cannot be used excessively. Thank you.
Okay, so you mean we need to have a balance between the two approaches?
Yeah.
Oh, yes. I agree as well.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm waiting.
Will we be having another one?
Yeah, if you like. Unless
Oh yes, one last chance. Okay.
Okay. All right, one more. So we have Salu Ali. Who's next? Salu, would you like to open your mic?
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. And both can contribute for our language, and we have to know the level of their proficiency level or lower grade. We have to allow them to use the mother tongue in English classroom. When we come to their level is high, we have to, challenge them. We have to positively challenge that they have to practice and they have to extract and they have to learn the language. So both can contribute. As a teacher, we have to know their level. Thank you.
I do agree with you. It depends. Like, we need to have a balance between the two approaches. And as a teacher, you need to be clever and you need to read your student and know your student. So you can have this like perfect balance between the two approaches. So your student will get the best of both worlds. Okay. So now let's talk about the benefits of multilingualism. And by the way, being in a multilingual classroom can be beneficial for both, not just our learners, but it can also be beneficial for us as teachers. So what are the benefits of multilingualism? Number one, we have promote cultural diversity because multilingual classroom brings together students from different languages, background, different cultures, and this is a great opportunity for them to share their ideas, their thoughts, unique perspective, and to develop empathy towards each other and towards their peers. So, of course, being in a multilingual classroom can promote cultural diversity. Number two, enhances cognitive abilities because hearing and learning multiple languages be a good workout for your brain, can improve your memory, can improve your problem-solving skills, can help you to answer more confidently. So number two is, and number three, it fosters empathy, as we said, because being in a multilingual environment where everyone is sharing their perspective, their tradition, culture, this can foster empathy in our students. Number four, prepare students for globalized work by equipping them with the mindset, with the skills needed for them to be in a globalized world, to be among people with different linguistic backgrounds and different cultures. Number five, enhances. So now we have the benefit why you as a teacher should challenge yourself and be ready to be in a multilingual classroom, because being in a multilingual classroom can enhance a teacher professional development and foster continuous learning and growth. Because as a teacher teaching in a multilingual classroom, you need to be creative, you need to be resilient, and you need to have adaptability. And to do so, you need to continuously work on yourself professionally. You need to keep developing professionally. Number six, I believe this is number six, provide opportunity for teachers to develop diverse instructional strategies, because being in a multilingual classroom can be challenges because you need to create this inclusive environment. And to do so as a teacher, you need to develop diverse instructional strategies. Being in a multilingual classroom can enhance your adaptability and effective communication skills. And we also, being in a multilingual classroom, can encourage educators to stay current with research on language acquisition and cultural competence, because to be creative, to be adaptable, to be resilient, you need to stay up to date with the research on language acquisition so that you can tackle the challenges of being around multilingual learners. And the last one is strengthen problem-solving abilities and resilience in educators as well. Because when you are dealing with multilingual learners, every day there is a challenge and you need to be a good problem solver. So being in a multilingual classroom can strengthen your problem-solving abilities and skills. So as you can see, everyone, being in a multilingual classroom has many benefits for your students and for you as well as an educator. Next one, please. Okay. So now let's share some tips to support our multilingual learners. So after this webinar, you will be ready to start this new challenge. If you haven't already, to start this new challenge and to deal with multilingual classroom. Number one is create a welcoming classroom environment. You need to create a welcoming classroom environment for your students. How you can do that? You should use positive language like encouragement. You are doing a great job. I'm proud of you. Affirmation. You are capable of solving this. And of course, you need to give constructive feedback like you are progressing. Here is how you can improve. And finally, a respectful tone like thank you for your patience, and try to be approachable and supportive. Your multilingual learners can face many challenges, so you need to be approachable and you need to be there to support them, to be with them, and to help them feel as if this environment you are creating is welcoming and it's inclusive for them all. So number one, create a welcoming classroom environment. Number two is learn, understand, and respect the diverse cultural backgrounds of your students. If you are about to deal with a multilingual classroom, you cannot do that without learning and understanding the diverse cultural backgrounds of your students. And to show them that you understand and you respect their diverse cultural backgrounds, you can use literature, you can use art, you can use historical references from their cultures, and you can always use music because a lot of songs, they have a version in multiple languages. So you can play one of these songs so everyone can feel connected to the music, regardless of their linguistic background. For example, Old MacDonald had a farm. E-I-E-I-O. So this in English. In Arabic, we have Alam MacDonald. Today Mizra. E-I-E-I-O. So a lot of songs, they have versions in multiple languages. So of course, you can use music, you can use art, you can use historical events to show your students that you understand and you respect their different cultural background. Next one. Listen to their needs and concerns and always provide a safe and a comfortable space. And as I said before, multilingual learners can feel intimidated by the language. Some refugees, they are in a new country and they have to study this new language. So you need to listen to their needs. You need to show empathy. Oh, you can do that. You can provide a safe and comfortable space for them. For example, when they are having a bad work or an activity, you can allow them to use their native language, right? And you can also give them some cards. They can raise the card if they are not feeling comfortable or confident enough to speak only in English. So some tips so that you can create this safe and this comfortable space for your students. Next slide, please. Okay. Number 4, you need to encourage your students to share their language as well through activities like language exchange session and storytelling. And a very important a very important example I use to encourage my students to share their languages with me is I ask them to teach me some famous words in their language. I asked my students to teach me some famous words from their languages, and now like they feel connected to me. Like, hey, I'm teaching my teacher, and he is willing to learn my language. So this is a small tip for you. Next one. It's so cute. Thank you, Elizabeth. Thank you so much. You need, as a teacher dealing with multilingual learners, you need to be creative. So, as a teacher dealing with multilingual learners, you need to be creative. Tailor your method to better suit your students. You can use visual aids that can be understood by all, hands-on activity and group work. And remember to use language-neutral activity, like an activity that can be enjoyed by all, regardless of their language background and their language abilities. For example, you can use the paper airplane challenge, a very fun and outdoor challenge. Like you can ask your students to make the best paper airplane in a time limit, and then you can fly them and see whose design flies the furthest. And I will also be sharing a video for an activity, a language neutral activity. So we can watch the video and have a discussion. Next one, you need to use clear and concise language. Avoid idiomatic expression. Like instead of saying, "Oh, it's raining cats and dogs," just simply say it's raining heavily, and your instructions need to be simple, need to be clear. And to do so, you can speak a little bit slowly and pronounce like words vividly so that your students can understand. And you can always use gestures and body language, because sometimes when the language is not understood, gestures and body language can convey the meaning. And here I want to share with you a very good example, a video. Stephen, please, the video.
Sevens is a great way to bring a bit of energy and focus into the room. All you have to do is be able to count to 7 in the chosen language. Get your group to stand in a circle, and you're going to count one at a time to 7 and continue round the circle, starting again from 1 every time you reach 7. The direction of the count is indicated by a hand slap to the shoulder, so you pass it around the circle like that. Once everyone's confident with that, you can start adding in the other rules. The first one is that you can change direction by changing the direction of the hand slap. Next, number 7 goes over the head. The hand movement changes, and you can change direction with number 7 too. Once everyone's got all those rules, you can start to get people out. If they hesitate, if they get it wrong, if they haven't got enough energy.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2,
3,
4, 5, 6, 7.
Sevens is a really good warm-up game with any group, any different level. Obviously, in the language classroom, you can play it in the taught language. We've had lots of fun with it played with different languages. So you just ask the learners and participants to use different languages for different numbers. It means everybody's kept on their toes. And another way you could adapt the game is to go obviously to higher numbers, especially as you're teaching higher numbers in your foreign language.
Okay, everyone. So what do you think about this video? What do you think about this activity? It's a very language neutral activity, right? Like everyone can be included, everyone can participate in this activity regardless of their language backgrounds and their language skills. And have you noticed how the teacher is using her gestures and body language to convey the meaning more than her words? Like she is minimizing the teacher talking time so that she is making everyone feel comfortable and like using her gestures and body language more. Very, very interesting, right? Okay, next one. We are running out of time, so we will try to hurry up. We are still talking about the tips for teachers to support multilingual learners. And of course, you need to be patient. You need to show empathy because multilingual students may have and may face many challenges with English phonetics and accent. So you need to be patient. You need to be empathy. You need to make your student feel as if they are connected to you. You understand. You are here to listen and to support. Again, develop professionally because dealing with multilingual learners is not that easy. It's great though, but it's not easy. So you need to be creative. You need to be resilient. You need to be empathetic. And to do so, you need to develop professionally. You need to work on yourself. You need to keep up to date with the best strategies to deal with multilingual learners. And by the way, soon we will be sharing with you a link for a training course here in the British Council for teachers who want to know more about how to deal with multilingual classroom. We will share the link, so hurry up and enroll in the course. Next one. So, last but not least, as a teacher dealing with multilingual learners, you need to be flexible in your teaching methods. And you need to know that every student is unique. Every student is different. So, for example, a flexible teacher should adjust their lesson plan to accommodate a student who has fallen behind due to learning difficulties. So, you need to identify the gap, you need to identify the issue, and as a flexible teacher, you need to offer help like a one-on-one session or like a small group session so that you can make them like feel connected. Because by individualizing support, a teacher can effectively help a student who has fallen behind. You help them to catch up. Okay, so here I want to share with you some references, some materials, videos, more tips. Please have a look at them. They will be more very beneficial for you. And as I told you before, in the British Council, they have a training course for teachers who wants to know how to effectively deal with multilingual classrooms. Maybe Stephen can tell you more about the course. And that's it, everyone. Thank you for attending. Thank you for being here. And thank you so much for your awesome contribution. And please, if you have any comments, any questions, anything to share, don't hesitate. I'm here for you. If you have any questions, please write it in the chat box.